Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Soph. I'm joined by Meg for the Soph and Meg show, which feels like the first one in an eternity. Meg, how are you doing?
Yeah, keeping safe in my household. We're all good. It does seem like we haven't done one for a while. But obviously, lack of football. So's doing a FIFA stream, so make sure you check out the FIFA streams. Let me put that out there straight away. But yeah, all okay. Some news to talk about there, isn't there?
Yeah, some sad news, Megan. Sad for you in particular, to be honest. Yeah, getting back into playing, but yeah, we'll announce that. Well, that'll be our first talking point. So, from tier 3 downwards, all grassroots women's football voided. The leagues have been totally voided. Not going to continue this season, so that they will end. There's no relegations, promotions, no champions. Meg, I'll let you start. What's your opinion on the whole situation?
It's a bit mad, like you just said. Like, I was getting back. So people who don't know this, like, I had a baby and had taken some time off from football and just trying logistically work my way back in. Have only just gone back, and yeah, the season's been cancelled, voided, done, finished, all over. I literally played one game. So on a personal level, it's tough. I can see why they've done it, and I don't disagree with the fact that the season has been voided, because I think the longer this goes on, the more complications you're going to have come the following seasons. But on a real personal note, I'm really disappointed to not have the opportunity to get back this season into the team and around the girls. And football, it's not just about the football; it's about the socialisation as well. So I'm just a bit gutted that we can't get around the team and be there. But the whole decision, like I said, I agree with it initially. I think there's too many complications later on down the route if we don't void it. But I would have liked to have seen a blanket rule for football. You're now starting to begin these complications of, well, the Premier League down to the National League, they can carry on, and in the women's game, it's the Super League and the Championship can carry on, but everyone else has stopped. So now we're at like two separate playing fields. I don't know what you think about that, Soph.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, it's more of a shame for the teams like Wolves, for example, 9 points clear at the top of the league, and then it's voided. They're not going to go up. And there's a lot of players in that team who this may well have been their last season, their last chance to really go up. And you've got to feel for them kind of players. And I think obviously it'd be interesting to see now if this is carried over, like you say, a fair playing field for absolutely everyone. I think it's heartbreaking, really, and personal situations like yourself as well. I think it's horrible because realistically that's a long time without playing football. That's a long time. Obviously, you won't start up again until after the summer. That's if it's even safe to start playing then. So it's going to feel like an absolute eternity, anyway.
Yeah, I was reading an article earlier about the Premier League. So if we talk about the Premier League for a minute, about voiding that in terms of just that league and the implications that brings about. So they were talking about having a majority decision. So therefore it needed 14 teams to come to a decision about what they were going to do. And they were looking at teams from Everton who are in 12th, and they're on 37 points, and they've not reached that magical 40 number. So the teams below that, what would they most likely do? They probably want to avoid it. At least they'll be safe from relegation for this season. They get to start again. The teams above that, and in particular Arsenal, because they were talking about if we voided the season and therefore the teams who were in Europe this season go back to being in Europe again, so they get a second shot of it. Arsenal would actually move. If Man City's ban was upheld, Arsenal finished 5th last season, so therefore they would go into the Champions League place.
Oh.
Crazy. So they would be the ones that would they're most likely the winners out of the whole thing, because they would get the best deal out of it. They would go into the Champions League. Liverpool would obviously win the league, so they probably want to continue the season. And then they talked about Manchester United. Now, if Manchester United didn't successfully qualify for the Champions League this season, then our sponsorship deal with Adidas, which is worth £750 million, there is a clause in there that would get slashed by 30%. That's huge for Manchester United. If we're talking about buying players like Sancho in the transfer window, that's huge. If we void this season and don't qualify for the Champions League, that leaves us financially not in the greatest place.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned in our last episode about Sancho and players like that. Would Manchester United be an attractive place for those players to come in with not in Champions League football? And I really have to say, I doubt it. I doubt players are going to want to come to Manchester United if we're not in Europe. There's also the likes of like Spurs, for example, who would be given another shot at get Champions League because this season obviously they're not. And I think, all in all, the fairest way to do it is to play behind closed doors for the remainder of the season, in my opinion. That's the fairest way to do it. I know entertainment-wise it's not going to be as good to watch. Fans obviously are going to lose out on tickets and so on and so forth, but that's the fairest way to do it. And I'm thinking of Liverpool in particular being so far ahead, but technically they're still not champions. The only fair way to do it, because you can't just give them the league. You can't do that because it's still up for competing for. I know it's unlikely, but it's still there to compete for. So you can't just give them that. And so to play behind closed doors, I think would be the best outcome. Now, Mark in the chat there, I've just seen it said National League wasn't voided. We know that. We know it's not National League. But we're talking about where does this stop now? Obviously, it started with grassroots and it started with the lower leagues. But is this going to carry on into the bigger leagues? Is this going to carry on to men's football? No one knows what's going to happen at the minute. Obviously, with all big events in the summer being cancelled, it gives more time then for the Premier League to finish the fixtures. But at this moment in time, it's getting worse in the UK. The Prime Minister's now got coronavirus. The Health Secretary's got coronavirus. It's not getting better at the minute, it's getting worse. And they're predicting it's going to peak fairly soon. Meg, do you think realistically we're going to have enough time to finish the league?
This is why I prefer a blanket rule for all football, because I just feel like you're going to have kind of games going on and other players just waiting around. So when does the leagues that they've cancelled now, if this was to blow over, the coronavirus was to, by August we're all okay to go out, we can play football again. So if the leagues that they haven't cancelled right now haven't been finished, what happens to the ones that have finished? Do we start in August like we would normally? Or do we have to hold back as well? So, and that's just in England, let alone, in terms of the leagues, FA Cup we're still in, European leagues, we have to coincide with the fact that the European Cups and stuff. What if other countries who are perhaps, we say we're 2 weeks behind Italy, so if we are 2 weeks behind them, who are 2 weeks behind us? So how do you then manage not just the English league, but then coinciding that with all the other leagues across Europe and the teams who have got teams still left in the European Cup competitions? It must be so difficult, but I think really, if I'm honest, you've already postponed and cancelled some leagues. Would you not just do that for the whole, from top to bottom, across all countries, and just say, do you know what? This pandemic has got so out of control, and it's so important that we focus on that rather than football, which is obviously a massive thing. Football's huge across loads of countries, but why don't we just focus on the fact that we need to get rid of this pandemic and then we just start afresh?
Exactly. Health ultimately comes before everything, and that's why I get so frustrated when I see people who still aren't following the lockdown rules. Still, people just living their life like nothing is happening, and that's frustrating because it's selfish. There's a lot of people who are vulnerable out there, a lot of people who are related to ourselves who are vulnerable out there, and they're being put at risk for selfish people. And that's why, although it is sad about football, of course it isn't, it's frustrating, and we're going out of our minds here. I'm playing FIFA constantly to try and get my football fixed, but football can wait. It's not the main thing, because health always comes first. And then we've just spoke a bit about transfers in regards to Sancho. Igalo, what's your opinion, Meg? Would you take him permanently? Or, because we're saying he loves United, does he love United enough to turn down 400k a week in China? It's an interesting one. What's your opinion on it?
a really interesting option for him, and it will be an interesting decision to see what he makes, because that is when you've got an offer of £400,000 to play football, to do the thing that you love, must be really hard to turn down, you know. And I'm not just talking selfishly, you know, money-wise, that for him, you think football's career, you know, doesn't span his entire life. If he takes that, then he would be able to set up, and I know he's done like charity work as well. So, you know, not just for him as well, but for things that he's got on in his personal life, it's a huge amount of money, ridiculous amount of money in my personal opinion, but it's not me offering him £400,000, it's China, so I can't say what they should be not offering or not, but that's him set up for life, isn't it? It's interesting to see what he'll do, because he does talk about living Manchester United, and for me, obviously, the Premier League is the best league in the world. So, do I think he should stay? Now, a lot of people have talked like this, and a lot of people have said, like, you know, when we see the real Ighalo, why would we want him, because he's not that good? But right now, he is doing well, and I don't feel like I've seen enough of him to be like, he could be a permanent Manchester United player, because you don't know, do you? You don't know if that was like his peak in form at that point in time, or will he drop off, or will he just keep pushing further, because he's going to have, you know, players come back from injury around him. Will that make him even better? Who knows? Interesting though. I'm not sure. I'm really on the fence with it. If you go off his last few games before this was shut down, then yeah, you can say he had been playing really well. But knowing in your back of your mind what he played like at Watford, it's a tricky one.
You say we played like at Watford, but I remember you giving, in particular Liverpool, an absolute torrid time, especially the first season, his breakthrough season in Premier League. I think he was superb. He was banging in goals for fun. And he was a handful for the defences. So I think, I don't know, I think he shows him signs that he's a natural goal scorer. He can finish, his link-up play is decent. 15 million, I think, was the price that was quoted for him. For that price, I'm thinking, do we take the risk and do we go for it? Is it really a risk? If he loves the club as well, it makes that deal a lot easier to do. So, personally, I would do it. As a squad player, if he's happy to be a squad player and obviously not an out-and-out striker, I think he gives us a bit something different from the bench. We lack goal scorers. I would take him, Meg. I would say, you know what, yeah, accept that deal and move on. I'm not saying we don't need another striker. I still think we need to sign our out-and-out striker. But I think Ighalo, for a squad player, for someone who's willing to fill in and can score the other important goal, 15 million, I'd take it.
I think it's important what you just said, the word squad player, because he does give us that not a second choice, but a different option. You know, I seen someone tweet the other day about Fellaini and how he missed that option of being able to go long and go forward to someone. Who did he play? And Ighalo's touch from De Gea was sick.
Oh, wasn't that like one of his first games?
No, De Gea kicked the ball, and I remember, was it Man City?
Was it last?
There was a game where De Gea kicked the ball and Ighalo brought it down beautifully.
I remember it. I remember comparing him to Lukaku in that very moment.
Yeah, and I just think having a player like that, big, tall centre forward, who can get hold of the ball, got a good touch, it gives us a different attacking option when perhaps we're struggling to break down a team.
Yeah, I agree. Provide something different.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm not saying we sign a guy off 15 million and that's it. We do not need to strengthen going forwards. He is the answer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying for that price, he gives us something a bit different, and I think he's worth it. Should we go through the chat, see what people are saying? Mark says he should have been voided weeks ago. 1066, hello again. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Hello to Connor. Matt Johnson says UEFA have said that they want all leagues to be finished by the 30th of June, but if the suspension is extended any further, that won't be possible. Scrap this season and start again when it's safe, in my opinion. It's true, this lockdown, obviously, 3 weeks is a prediction. I'm expecting it to go on for a lot longer than that, Meg. Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, I think this is going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. So, what we've done nearly a week after the
I don't even know what day it is, right? I don't even know what day it is.
I keep getting confused confused what day I'm on and whether I'm meant to be working or not. I did work today, I knew that. But it's going to get a lot worse. I don't see us being out of this lockdown anytime soon. It's going to be at least another month, I reckon, and to see any sort of improvement on numbers in terms of how many cases we have of coronavirus. And even then, it's not like we're all going to run off it. We'll be all allowed back into the public. I don't think it'll be like that, because I still think unless you eradicate the virus completely, it's still going to be floating around, isn't it? So how can you just let us all back out into the public like wild animals that we will be? Because let me tell you, there's going to be some parties when we're allowed back out of lockdown.
Because I looked out my window earlier and there's people just gathering around the car in the street, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like, you're not meant to be out and about. They're just chilling, looking at a little Corsa. One, it's a Corsa. Two, what are you doing all ganging around you? We're meant to be all on lockdown, and there's stuff like that that really, really gets me mad. I read something just as well. Apparently, there's been like a fire near Bolton, and it started from a barbecue, Meg. A fire, a big blaze, was started because people having a barbecue. What does that tell you about the British people?
I'd like to say that, I'm married to a key worker who is going out still, and I have friends who are key workers on the front line, in the NHS, in the police, still going out to work, and they're still coming across people who think they're bigger and better than the rules. You're not bigger and better than this virus. Like, if you get it and pass it on, and those people are infected, just stop. Like, allow yourself that exercise, solo exercise, one walk a day. Go out and get some fresh air, but you don't need to stand on the corner and look at a Corsa. Go on Google, there's plenty of pictures.
It just cracked me up. I don't know what the fascination was with it. I really don't get it at all. But yeah, we'll move on from the Corsa. Woodward should get a stand at your ground if you sell Smalling to Arsenal, because he's shocking. I'll rephrase that one. But yeah, Smalling, there are rumours that Arsenal want him. Apparently, we'd be willing to sell him to Arsenal. Would you do that deal, Meg? I've always said, out of the two, the Calamity brothers, the Chucker brothers, whatever you want to call them, I always said I would keep Smalling rather than Jones, because I think Smalling had more about him. I think he's quicker, taller, doesn't make as many mistakes, and he doesn't pull funny faces as much as Phil Jones. I'll add that in there. But no, I think to Arsenal, I would rather that didn't happen, because knowing how lucky he'd score against us, I think I'd rather him go somewhere like Roma permanently. But Meg, if they're offered a decent enough price, would you sell him to Arsenal?
I don't like Arsenal. I don't want to sell my players to Arsenal.
But what if he makes a mistake against us then, or scores like 10 own goals or something like that, like a season?
Yeah, I agree. And but sentiment-wise, when we told Welbeck to him, I don't care how good he was or he wasn't. I did not want to send anyone to Arsenal. Let them sweat out. I'd rather Arsenal have no defenders at all than have Smalling. I agree with you that if we were to sign him, I'd like to see him go to Roma or somewhere. I've heard that he's doing all right. I've not followed him whilst he's been out there. I've heard that he's actually been all right and playing quite well. But yeah, I'd rather Arsenal to sweat it out and have zero defenders than sell them Smalling, because it's great to see them struggling.
So we're playing Mustafi and Smalling.
Arsenal, so if Arsenal struggle, then so be it.
Hey, party! I could have Mustafi and Smalling at the back though. I think that would be an interesting pairing for Arsenal fans to witness. Or David Luiz even put him in there. In terms of your...
Three at the back.
This is a bit of a random one here, but I've wanted to pose a question. So I've seen... I'm going to put this up. I'm going to see if we can actually see it. So I've seen this picture of this kit floating around. Apparently, maybe the home kit for next season. Meg, what's your opinion on it?
I am here for it. I love it.
I'm glad you said that.
I absolutely love it. A little bit rascal. I've seen another kit as well out there with the black and white pattern all over.
That one needs a bit of tweaking, I think. I like the old concept, but you can't see anything.
That one, I feel like you'd probably find a lot of people wearing it at a festival because they all think it's going to be like this retro classic shirt. But this this one, the red one, probably wouldn't go on a bus in it. Let's face it, might blend in. But I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's all nice.
I think it's smart as well, and I like it even more so because it looks like Memphis Depay is wearing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does look
No,
nice.
it's just like Memphis, but
yeah.
I like it, and I saw it like the full kit picture with the white shorts, and I thought it looked smart. I like it. I always say with United kits lately that they try and play it safe. There's nothing different about it. Like it's all a bit bland, a bit boring. That's why I really liked it. And that Snake Pit one last year, I actually liked it because it was different. I didn't like the colour. I think that could have been different, but I like that they tried something a bit different, and that's why I like this one that I've seen this concept because I think it's looking a bit more modern. I did a tweet about this earlier. Meg, what would you say your favourite shirt ever? We'll say which one did you own, your favourite one that you owned ever. So I'm going to say, obviously, I've got my 99 Solskjaer on the back. Love it. That's got to be the most nostalgic and my favourite. But up there, which really pushed me earlier when I was doing this tweet, do you remember the white and the gold reversible shirt?
You literally just take it.
Do you remember that shirt? And again, it's because it was different. I absolutely love that shirt. I loved it.
You took the words literally out of my mouth. I wore that shirt so much that the print on the back of it had my name on it that it wore away because I wore it that much. Yeah, I loved that shirt. 99's obviously up there. I can't think what season it is off the top of my head. There's one, it was red, it got when we were sponsored by Vodafone, and I can picture Ferdinand.
Yeah, the Nike one.
Yeah, I feel like that one is up there.
The blue as well, though. I like a good blue kit.
Blue kit was nice.
I like a good blue kit. I think a blue kit is smart. Alright, well, what is the worst kit that you've ever seen us have then? The old grey one that we always used to lose in, it's got to be up there. That horrible grey kit.
I'm not sure. Do you know what? I wasn't so keen on the is it AIG?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't overly.
So that's like the Evra Rooney kind of era, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't overly fond
I
of
was just looking at my shirts I've got, thinking.
I've got the Vodafone one. I had it in long sleeved as well.
Yeah.
I thought I was like God's gift walking around. I thought I was a Manchester United player. I wasn't, obviously never going to happen. But I thought I was God's gift. Sign me up.
Love that. Hi to Roberto in the chat. He says, hope we are both well. We're both fine. We're both plodding through, coping, being on lockdown. I hope you're good, Roberto, as well. Is Meg Chiellini or Bonucci kind of centre half? I'll let you answer that. Meg, what kind of centre half are you? Are you into the nitty gritty and get your stuck in, or are you the more technical one? I'll share my answer in a minute, but I want you to answer this one first to see what they're saying.
I am one of those ones that just gets stuck in there. I am not the technical one. I'm the one that goes out and wins the ball. I don't like staying behind. Not a keeper. I don't want to pick the ball up and start spraying it. I want to go out there and win the ball. I want to go and I actually prefer the other people to have the ball so I can tackle them. Or the ball in the air because I love a good header. The
bullet header. Remember those bullet headers from Meg? Which is Megs! Bang!
Over the top of Sophie.
Yeah. No, the way I describe Meg is a bit like, have you ever watched Inspector Gadget? So you'll see a girl trying to shield the ball off the striker, and all you see is just Meg's leg wrap round and just like hook the ball away in like the most complicated situations. That's the way I would describe her, but definitely, yeah, the one who gets stuck in, I'd agree with that. But still, I'd say you're decent technical ability as well. I remember when we both played in midfield at one point.
I like that Soph off you, cheers.
Do you know me? You sound like I never give.
Glue on her boots, like the ball is stuck to her feet. You've never met a player do a 360 and like wriggle away through two people at the same time. Whereas, I'm more of the ones that I just go through them rather than tricking it around them.
Tricking it around them. Yeah, but you had more goal scoring prowess than I did. Yeah, a lot of them were bullet headers, granted, but still, you scored a lot of goals for a centre-back, didn't you?
Yeah, like, up there with the top goal scorers, I am. Not got a celebration nailed down, though. Pretty disappointed.
We did the old gift, though. We used to knock.
Yeah, what was mine?
I can't remember what you did.
On my phone, I still on my phone, I think. I still got yours.
I can't believe you still got that. Or are you Phil Jones as Roberto?
But you know what, I'm going to put my hands up there. You know all these people have been like, show me your game face. No. Stop nominating me. I have the most horrific photos of me playing football. Like, I have...
I'm going to share one.
Zero control over my body, like my face when I play football, and just like the majority of them is me heading the ball to start with. But yeah, I am probably like the Phil Jones of the team. Fine.
I'm going to share
my
game face. I swear there's one of me heading the ball. I saw it earlier because someone recommended me do the game face challenge, and I was in stitches thinking, you know what, if I put this up, my career is done. No, I can't find it, but yeah, it's a good Phil Jones impression, definitely. Right then, Meg. So, Pogba is the one I wanted to discuss. Do you think he's going to stay or is he going to go? And what do you want to happen with Paul Pogba?
Look, you can't deny his talent. You put him in the midfield next to Bruno, and I think you'd have to play either a Matic or a McTominay kind of player. And I know everyone's banging on about how good Fred's been and this season, and it's, you know, if we played three across the middle, it probably would be between, you know, your Pogba and Fred. You know, Fred would have to fill in, or would be one of those substitutes that you bring in to ease the pressure on the midfield. But the Pogba and Fernandes midfield duo, with someone sitting just behind them, covering, shielding that back line, I need to see that. I need to see that. Like, in my head and on paper, that works.
Mm-hmm.
That's dynamite midfield. That's like gold dust midfield. I want to see it. I don't want him to go. Yes, he's a handful to manage, apparently. You know, yes, he splits fans' opinions. I'm on the side where I want to see him in our squad, playing football, next to Bruno. Give him a bit of cover behind you. I need to see it. I need to see it.
You know what? If I'm Pogba as well and I see Bruno now in the team, I'm buzzing. I want to be playing alongside Bruno in that midfield because he just oozes quality. I feel like he'll complement Pogba perfectly, like you've already mentioned as well. And he just gives us something different. And I've always said this: Pogba, when he's on his day, absolutely world class player. He's unplayable at times, but in a United shirt, we can probably count on both of our hands the amount of good games that he has had. Yes, there's been a lack of quality around him, and I completely get that. Of course, I do. But I do think the whole circus that surrounds him, in regards to the media and his agent, that just complicates things. I think if Pogba wants to stay, and if he wants to say "want" is the key word, then we'll keep him. Of course, we will. But we need to see Pogba now paying back the fans with the performances that we know that he can be capable of. I do think he is unfairly treated at times by a lot of fans. I agree with that, and I think he does get a lot of stick because he is that high-profile player. But I also think he kind of likes that. He kind of, I don't know, he entices it with some of the stuff he does in the media. His agent doesn't help at all as well. I think if Pogba gets his head down and he plays and he wants to be at the club, more than happy to keep him. And like you said, with Bruno in there, I think it can be incredible. But if he doesn't want to play for United, we need to cash in on him, get very good money for him, and then we can sign multiple players for the money that we'll get for him who want to be at the club. And that's where I stand. I'm very much on the fence with him. If he wants to go, he can go. If he wants to stay, and he will stay and play to the best of his ability, then we keep him.
Yeah, I just feel like we haven't had the opportunity to see that midfield yet. And like you said, if it was me and I was watching Bruno, if I was Pogba watching Bruno, you know, come in and the impact that he's had on the team, I'd want to get back playing. I'd want to be there. I'd want to be in the thick of it, playing. He's lit up the Premier League, let's face it. He has, like, Bruno's lit it up. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see him playing. I also feel perhaps not the right time to sell him, because would we get the right price for him right now? He's not been playing. He's had a lot of bad press written about him whilst at Manchester United, which perhaps could lower his, I can't even think of the word.
His fee.
Fee, there you go. It's got to me this says. But yeah, would we get the right price for him?
It's an interesting point. I think Pogba, obviously, he is an attractive player, especially for the likes of Juventus. Obviously, he's got good history there. Juventus, there's always whispers that they want him back, and that Pogba is excited by the chance of going back. It could be, obviously, Roberto talking about it there, it could be a case where actually it's cash plus a player swap deal. Now, if that is the case, who would you take from Juventus in that situation? If we get one Juventus player to come in, Cristiano, bring him in now. Realistically, who would you put as part of that player plus cash deal? I mean, Dybala's got to be up there. Dybala gave everyone the run around last transfer window in the summer, though. Would you take Dybala now as part of a deal? But then again, you hear about the rumours Dybala, Pogba having such a good relationship, being really good friends off the pitch, flirting with each other through social media. But I don't know how I feel about that. I think Pogba, if he does leave, I do believe it'll be back to Juventus. I can't see him go to Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid will offer the fee for him, to be honest with you. But I'm just intrigued to see if it's going to be full out cash, we need a big lump sum for him, or we need a decent player in swaps. I don't know who I'd take from Juventus right now as a United fan.
Dybala, I mean, again, quality player, but is he someone that we would need? If we got Dybala, would we then get Sancho? I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't see.
Well, you'd play Dybala probably more so like a 10, wouldn't you? But Bruno obviously is the player that we've had to fill that.
I mean, then you've got Bruno, so you wouldn't shift Bruno out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just don't see that kind of materialising a little bit, because I don't see Dybala leaving Juve. Pogba goes back there. You know, you mentioned that they have a good relationship, so if Pogba was going that way, I think Dybala would put his foot down and be like, no, I'm not going anyway.
Yeah. It strikes me as he doesn't fancy the United move. All that last summer, and obviously then Spurs got involved as well. I don't think Dybala truly wanted to leave Juventus. I think it was all a ploy to try and get a better deal. And as usual, United's name gets dragged into that.
Someone's put a defender. Not really what I would say would be a good deal. I wouldn't want to spot Paul Pogba.
De Ligt would be the only defender really, and he's only just gone to Juventus, so I can't see that transpiring. I really can't see it happening. I think it'll be a cash deal. I genuinely think if we do get rid of him, it'll have to be a good offer. But we mentioned that is it the right time to sell him because he hasn't been playing, but at the same time, the more he's getting older, his price will drop as well. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, we both hope that Pogba stays and we don't have to look at a possible deal out for him. I think we both hope that he stays and then he can get back into the form that we know he's capable of, and we want to see him playing in that midfield with Bruno. That's what all United fans want to see now.
Yeah, I'm here for him to be here, to be at Manchester United. I want that the McTominay and Matic discussion of who should play. Don't really care. Just don't mind. Whoever's on form would be nice. Whoever's playing better at the time, or whoever's training well, but the Bruno and the Pogba combination, I just want to see it work. I just want to see how, because honestly, on paper, that just match made in heaven, surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
I mean, I mentioned this. I was talking to Flex earlier. I was on United Stand's Instagram, and we were saying about players who, Delo, for example, who we expected a lot of when he came in. We had never heard of him, but after seeing him play a few times, we were all excited, thinking, you know what, this kid is decent. He's had a few injuries. Wan-Bissaka's come in as well, and obviously hindered his progression as a player, if you like. But I mentioned that there should always be one player pushing another for a position. We should always have two players who are competing and pushing. If you want to be the best in the world or one of the best teams in the world, you need to have competition for places. And I think that is what obviously Delo brings. McTominay and Matic, you've got a similar situation there, where there's people who are playing for places. And I think that's what we're lacking going further forwards at the minute. We're lacking the attacking players to push. But competition ultimately is healthy, isn't it, Meg, for any player?
Yeah, definitely. I think you need that kind of push, especially if you've got good relationship with the other player as well, which there should be in a squad. You should have the right balance of players in there. But you need someone. You don't want to be too comfortable. You don't want players to get comfortable and be like, well, it doesn't matter if I'm playing like crap, I'm still going to play.
Yeah.
You need players that think, I need to be playing well. I need to be on top of my game. I need to be training hard. If I don't, then there's someone coming through that's pushing me, ready to be in my place. And if you are the person who isn't potentially in that starting 11 and is the second choice, you know, they're the ones that are you will always see them training well. They don't give up because they know they're on the verge of breaking through and breaking into your position. And if you don't play well, if that number one player doesn't play well, and the second player takes that opportunity, then then they have the roles reversed. But you do need someone to be pushing you.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's healthy. Competition for places is healthy. That's why a lot of people are talking about like Madison and Grealish coming in. Are they realistically going to come in and be willing to be a squad player or a backup player? Because ultimately Bruno is playing in that central position at the minute. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see it in the summer who we do sign. Obviously this season to see how it pans out as well. What's going to happen in terms of the league. Hopefully we'll be more informed about that fairly soon as well. But yeah, Meg, as always, thank you so much for coming on to Hair Dry Treatment. Soph and Meg show is a big winner. Can I just ask as well, guys, that if you haven't already, please do vote for us in the FCAs. If you look at both of our Twitters and Instagrams, we can show you how the voting process is. All you have to do is either tag us in the picture for Best in Women's Football on Instagram on the FCA's post, or tweet that you vote for Soph Richo in the FCA's hashtag Best in Women's Football. That's all we need to do. I'll put that in the description as well so you guys can vote for us. If you enjoy the Soph and Meg show, we'd appreciate it if you could give us a vote. And yeah, Meg, thank you as always.
Thank you for having me on again, and it's always nice to be able to chat about football, although there's not much going on. Just a note to everyone to keep safe. Please stay inside as much as possible, or at home as much as possible. And to all those who are still working, a huge thank you, because there are so many people still out there having to do essential work, so a huge thank you to those people. Sophie mentioned it. If you go on our socials, you'll be able to see how you can vote. Would be really nice, but that's if you do, then you do. If you don't, cheers. No, if you do, you do. But if you don't, that's okay. But yeah, first and foremost, just keep safe, everybody. Thanks for having me on. See you later.
Thanks, Meg. Yeah, stay safe, guys. Stay inside. It saves lives. Look after your loved ones. Keep morale high. Keep doing stuff to pass the time. More content obviously be coming up over the weekend as well. To everyone who's tuned into my FIFA streams all week, a massive thank you. It's been fun, I've enjoyed it, and obviously we'll continue that soon as well. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Meg as well for taking time out of the day to join us live as well. Make sure you drop a like, drop a comment on the video afterwards if you have missed you in the chat. We don't purposely miss it. And also subscribe to Hair Dry Treatment if you haven't already. But all in all, guys, look after yourselves and have a good evening. Thank you.